Good day, and welcome to the Lillyroddyshow, coming to you from the LRS studios here in Houston, Texas. I'm so glad to have you with me every week so I can share my astrological perspective about what I think's going on. Now, we're getting pretty close to summer here in Houston as our temperatures are already up in the high 80s and 90s. And of course, we're having our summer spring showers and tornadoes that we always have. Always an active spring in Texas. And this is a fairly busy and active week, but we won't be having all the conflicting planetary interaction that we've really been having over the last 6 weeks. We do have 2 long void of course moons this week, and one will be on Sunday evening on the 19th through Monday, and the other one will be on Wednesday the 22nd. Each of these void of course moons will be about 24 hours. We have also a fairly long void of course moon on Friday, but that doesn't really occur until the afternoon. So that should give us plenty of time to get our rat killing done. The Sun enters the sign of Taurus on Monday the 20th at 4:42 a.m. This should make us all feel a bit more grounded in our actions and choices. If you would like to get in touch with me, you can always reach me at Lillyroddyshow at AOL.com, Lillyroddyshow.com, or find us on Twitter, Pinterest, or Facebook. Now let's have a look at the week of April 19th through the 25th. Sunday, April 19th. The moon transits patient and reliable Taurus for the entire day, but she does turn void of course at 6:06 p.m. This is a busy day with lots of aspects, so we should get a lot done. Our first aspect, Mercury sextiles Neptune at 2:13 a.m. When these two planets connect, we're able to combine our intellectual skills with our intuitive skills. This is an especially good time to pay attention to that inner voice. If you're working with the public today, you'll find that you're able to read other people's emotions more easily. This can be an especially good combination for people who are writers, healthcare professionals, or event planners. We are more compassionate and more understanding because of the interaction of these two planets. This aspect, Mercury sextile Neptune, will be in effect for the next couple of days, so enjoy it. Venus squares Neptune at 5:30 a.m. With this aspect already influencing us for at least one day, and at least for 2 more days, we are choosing our company very carefully. With such a strong Neptune influence for the whole day, we are all extra sensitive and can easily overreact. Relationships may not be very comforting today as we feel a bit isolated or alone. We may not even want to share our space with others with this transit. These energies are much better for escaping and getting away from your day-to-day routines. Give yourself plenty of time to get ready this morning. The moon sextiles Neptune 7:23 a.m. Imagine, I'm still in the morning, a.m. Continuing our Neptune theme, make sure that you can create a peaceful environment for yourself this morning. This is a more creative time and can be very good for hobbies or crafts. The moon conjuncts Mercury at 8:12 a.m. Our energy level picks up some as we're checking our schedule and connecting back to our routines. We're a little bit more chatty this morning than usual, but we're just talking about our day-to-day activities. The moon squares Jupiter at 1:31 p.m. After lunch, it's a good time to break away from some of your routines and step back and take a larger perspective on what's going on in your life. People are more open to new ideas at this time as long as you don't become too dogmatic in your presentation. The moon conjuncts Mars at 3:39 p.m. We're wearing our emotions right on our sleeve with this combination of planets. Since both the moon and Mars are in Taurus, we want to take this strong burst of energy and turn it into something useful and productive. We're all feeling a bit defensive and ready to react with our animal side of our humanity. Try to keep your activities fun and playful, and don't take yourself too seriously. The moon trines Pluto at 6:06 p.m. We're feeling a little more settled and laid back this early afternoon. You may want to rehash some of the activities and episodes from the earlier part of the day. This is a good time to be working on any type of future planning, especially associated with long-term financial security. The moon is now void of course in Taurus at 6:06 p.m. and will remain so until she enters Gemini at 6:28 p.m. on Monday evening. And of course this is the beginning of a very long 24-hour moon void of course. Keep your plans and expectations for tomorrow very realistic. That's a heck of a Sunday. Monday, April 20th. The day begins with the moon void of course in Taurus. She does enter articulate and adaptable Gemini at 6:28 p.m. That will mark the end of a long 24-hour moon void of course time frame. During the day, let your emotional compass be your guide for most of the day with the moon void of course. Void of course moons are very good for completing projects that we've been avoiding. Plan your more important meetings after the moon enters Gemini at 6:28 p.m. Early in the morning, the sun enters Taurus at 4:42 a.m. The sun, our star and light, enters the practical and earthy and stable sign of Taurus. Our creative energies and efforts must be grounded and made real with the sun in Taurus. The sun will spend the next month in the sign of Taurus. And in the evening, the moon enters Gemini at 6:28 p.m. and of course is no longer void of course. As the moon enters Gemini, we're more mentally active and looking for fun and interesting conversation with other people. And finally, the very late aspect for the day, Mercury squares Jupiter at 11:16 p.m. This is a very mentally stimulating planetary alignment. This can be a great time of data gathering and analyzing, and finally putting things into perspective that we may not have seen before. We may be exceptionally chatty and may want to take some simple plans way overboard. These energies are especially positive for any type of promotion or advertising activities. We will be affected by these two planets for the next couple of days. With this mentally stimulating energy coming so late in the evening, it may be difficult for us to get to sleep. Tuesday, April the 21st, the moon occupies witty and versatile Gemini for the entire day. The moon opposes the sun at 12:59 a.m. We may be feeling very lonely and misunderstood with these two planets interacting. Saturn always wants us to take the most realistic look at what's going on in our life. Don't overthink things so that you aren't enveloped in the fear of what if that's generated from Saturn. The moon squares Neptune at 10:11 a.m. Our emotional and psychic sensitivities are turned up at this time. It would be best if you had some time to yourself for meditation or daydreaming. We'll all be feeling that we're really visitors to this planet and are only here to taste the food and take some pictures. The moon conjuncts Neptune at 2:53 p.m. We're finally feeling a bit more grounded this afternoon. Fairness in relationships is really emphasized with this planetary combination. It's a very good time for talking about your relationship, contract renegotiations, or just indulging yourself in your favorite treat. Mars trines Pluto at 4:31 p.m. Action and decision-making meet at a very positive time. Since these planets will be influencing us over the next 4 days, this is a very good time to start a new project, rework your long-term investments, or even begin a new health regime. This is an opportune time for decision-making since we have considered all the possibilities before we take any action. These planets also encourage the need for research and to understand the real motives that drive us all. We will feel more confident as we learn how to utilize our shared resources better. The Moon conjuncts Jupiter at 4:43 p.m. We will certainly be feeling upbeat and more emotionally connected this afternoon. This combination helps all types of social activity, from dealing with customers to making dinner plans for the evening. Also, this is an excellent time for teaching in class, producing a promotional video, or thinking about your next vacation. I think it would be me thinking about doing an emotional video. That would be more like me. Wednesday, April 22nd. Today is Earth Day. The moon spends practically the entire day in Mercurial Gemini, but she turns quickly void, of course, in Gemini at 12:38 a.m., and she'll remain void, of course, for almost 23 hours until she enters Cancer at 11:25 p.m. That's a pretty long one. And in spite of the long void, of course, moon, there's a lot of planetary activity that will keep us hopping all day long. Wear your track shoes today. The moon sextiles Uranus at 12:38 a.m. If you're up late, this can keep your brain very stimulated for any late night projects that you want to work on. It's also a very good time to do a defrag on your computer. The moon is now void, of course, in Gemini at 12:38 a.m. In the morning, Mercury trines Pluto at 8:25 a.m. Our research and detective skills are working very well over the next 2 to 3 days. We're able to say what we mean and be very clear because we're personally committed to the messages we share today. These are very good energies for writing, any type of training, restructuring the inner workings of your company, or just doing some therapy. Whenever and whatever we do today, we will want to know the motivation behind the decision making. It's always a great day for cleaning out and reorganizing with Mercury and Pluto. And some more aspects. Venus sextiles Jupiter at 1:41 p.m. Now, this is a very positive time for relationships. Dealing with immigration on a large scale, or advancing your own education. These energies can help to resolve dissimilarities between different countries as well as in individual relationships. On a personal level, we're able to interact better with the people around us because we're sharing a more common view of reality. This is a very good time to begin new partnerships, romance, or business. This aspect, Venus-Jupiter, will be in effect for the next couple of days. And if you didn't think that was enough, Mercury conjuncts Mars at 6:04 p.m. Speak your mind. Our patience will be at an all-time low, and in fact, we may feel very nervous or hyper when these two planets connect. This can be a good energy for a debate, trying to create a new market for your services, or a time when we'll all feel a bit defensive about the information and knowledge that we have. On the fun side of Mars, this is a great night to get out with friends for dinner and dancing, or enjoying some online gaming. And try to remember, it's only a game. This planetary alignment will also be in effect for the next couple of days. Be careful on your drive to work and back home during this week with this Mercury-Mars. People are likely to be a little irrational. The moon enters Cancer at 11:25 p.m. and is finally no longer void of course. As the moon enters Cancer, the best place for all of us to be is at home. Thursday, April 23rd. The moon resides in sensitive and shrewd Cancer for the entire day. The moon sextiles the sun at 4:48 a.m. If you're awake, it's a great time to be expressing your creative urges. In the afternoon, the moon trines Neptune at 4:23 p.m. Our emotional, psychic receptivity is very strong. You can use this to be more connected with your clients or to visit your acupuncturist. Trust your gut this afternoon. Friday, April the 24th. The moon journeys through family-seeking Cancer for the entire day. She does turn void of course in Cancer at 12:04 p.m. and remains so throughout the remainder of the day. Try and plan your more important activities before noon. The moon opposes Pluto at 4:21 a.m. In our dream state, we are purging the residue of negative emotions. If you remember your dreams, you'll be confronting some long-held fears. The moon sextiles Mars at 8 a.m. You have a lot of energy this morning, and some of it may be really hard to contain. Normally, this combination of planets would indicate a good time to initiate some sort of new project. However, the restlessness of the upcoming transit keeps us a bit distracted and off-center from our primary aim. Keep your schedule light and flexible this morning, and you will be fine. The moon squares Uranus 8:02 a.m., just 2 minutes later. We could be feeling very restless and even angry and impatient. If you're driving to work, pull over to the slow lane and take your time. Everyone's having a strong dose of narcissism. Your choices here are to play or not play. The moon sextiles Mercury at 12:04 p.m. At lunchtime, we enter into a more rational time. We're feeling more like our normal self, and we're back onto our routines. Now, of course, this is the time the moon does go void, of course, in Cancer, and until she enters Leo, at 8:13 a.m. on Saturday morning. So the rest of the day is void. Since the void, of course, occurs after lunch today, we're going to have a very laid-back Friday afternoon. Focus on the things that make you feel emotionally safe and secure. Saturday, April 25th. The moon begins the day, void of course in Cancer, when she enters expressive and robust Leo at 8:13 a.m. and is no longer void of course. The moon trines Saturn at 3:09 p.m. This is an excellent time to be engaged in any type of project that you are personally and emotionally invested. It's a great time for any kind of weekend warrior projects or just spending your time with your family to reconfirm those connections. In our last aspect for the week, I'll have some water. The moon squares the sun at 6:55 p.m. We're feeling somewhat restless this early evening. This is a good time to get out, have dinner with friends, or invite people over for a barbecue. Well, as you can tell, this is definitely a busy and active week, and for the most part, pleasant. And we don't have all of that difficult energy from the Uranus-Pluto square that we've been living with since 2008. I want to thank you for joining me this week, and please join me next week as we look at April 26th through May 2nd of 2015. And this is the Lilly Roddy Show, coming to you from the LRS studios here in Houston, Texas, reminding you to keep those stars in your eyes. Bye-bye.